Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with some more updates coming out from the Russian-Ukraine war. We have tons and tons of news to go over in the last 24 to 36 hours. If you weren't aware, yesterday I was not here, so if you didn't see any updates coming out from me, that's why I took the day off to spend some time with my family. So I appreciate you guys for your patience, and thank you so much for being here today. So let's go ahead and jump right into the news. We've got major news coming out from this war between Ukraine and Russia. And some of the biggest news we have is yesterday on Sunday in the early morning hours leading into the later morning inside of Moscow, coming under attack by lots and lots of Ukrainian drones. I think we had well over 150 Ukrainian drones that were launched onto Russia just yesterday on August 31st, 2024. And something like 150 drones or more were fired onto at least 15 different regions of Russia. Moscow getting struck by lots and lots of drones. We had an oil refinery being struck. We had a fuel depot being struck, pipeline distribution facilities, 2 thermal power plants, gas distribution lines near a power plant. So lots and lots of major hits yesterday. And if you weren't aware of this, Moscow is one of the most heavily guarded, if not the most heavily guarded city in Russia when it comes to air defense. And I'm going to show you guys a map here in just a little bit that shows how much air defense is guarding Moscow, yet at the same time, these Ukrainian drones were still able to make it into the city and cause heavy damage to lots of critical infrastructure. So we're going to talk some more about that today. We also got some reports coming out from Kharkiv coming under attack today as well. On September 1st, 2024, just a few hours ago, at least 10 or more ballistic missiles were fired into Kharkiv. I think these were North Korean missiles and also Iskander ballistic missiles as well. Major hits there. We do have some reports of casualties, unfortunately, lots of wounded, major hits inside of Kharkiv. This is probably in response to that drone attack in Moscow recently, just on Sunday yesterday. So very big hits inside of Ukraine. So I have on the screen here, it says, according to Russian channels, Ukraine launched a record number of drones, over 100, targeting several regions in central and southern Russia's Lipetsk, Oryol, Bryansk, Tula, Belgorod, and Voronezh regions. So lots and lots of regions coming under attack by Ukrainian drones. The video footage that you're watching here is a Russian emergency helicopter that is picking up some water at a local pond or a park and trying to carry this water over to some of the facilities that have been damaged and are on fire. So let's go ahead and jump right into the news, guys. I've got so many videos to go over here today. This is probably going to be a longer video, so let's go ahead and get into it. Igor Sushko, Russia Sunday morning in Moscow. At least 5 targets struck by Ukraine today in and near the Russian capital. Moscow oil refinery, Volodarskaya, if I'm pronouncing that right, hopefully I am, fuel depot, and pipeline distribution facility, 2 thermal power plants, gas distribution line near a power plant. So lots and lots of critical infrastructure struck and destroyed in this attack from Ukraine. So we'll just kind of briefly watch some of this video here. It's just mainly this helicopter that I was showing you guys earlier with this helicopter picking up this water at this pond. So take a look. So we'll go ahead and stop it right there. It's basically just the same thing. It's just this helicopter picking up some water to try to drop it on some of the facilities that are on fire. And I've got lots and lots of videos today to show you guys of these facilities on fire and many of them being struck by these Ukrainian drones. So let's go ahead and move to our next topic here. So also from C4H10FO2P says drone hit refinery in Moscow, Russia. So this is the oil refinery in Moscow coming under attack by a drone. We've got a 1-minute video. Check this out. It's pretty crazy.
Мужики, сбейте его, блин! Бля, это ПВО, они из автоматов что ли стреляют? Вот интересно. Бать, пошел вниз. Ебать.
Блядь, вот пизда.
Ничего себе. Вот это прилет.
Okay, so what you just saw here was the Moscow oil refinery coming under attack by a Ukrainian drone. And if you heard there in the background, you could hear lots and lots of gunfire going off as the citizens here and probably the military was trying to take this thing down with small arms fire and were unsuccessful in doing so. And this is the result of the failure of Russian air defense systems. And again, I'm going to show you a map here in just a little bit how many systems are actually guarding this this city. And although there's that many systems guarding it, it still was able to come under attack by Ukrainian drones. So big video right there. We'll go ahead and move to our next update from Jurgen Nodit. Another powerful moment of the UAV's arrival over the Moscow oil refinery. Yes, Moscow. So this is another angle from a drone striking the Moscow oil refinery as well. Take a look at this. So definitely a massive hit. There's that drone that strikes right there in that oil refinery here in Moscow. And I believe this is that same drone that we saw earlier. We just have somebody up close here. This looks like it might be an emergency crew or somebody that's working here at this facility near this van. And they were able to capture that not too far away. It looks like maybe a few hundred feet away. And they were able to see this drone striking this facility. So again, absolutely massive hit to this oil refinery in Moscow. So also, from next newly released footage captures the exact moment a Ukrainian drone struck the Kharkiv power station located in Russia's, I don't know if it's Tver or Ver region, approximately 150 kilometers northwest of Moscow. Okay, so this is not necessarily in Moscow, 150 kilometers northwest. And this is the Kharkiv power station that came under attack as well. We've got a 24-second video to show you. Take a look at this.
Люди уже собираются. Время 5 утра. Наковский. Народ отчаянный. Опа. Опа. А вот и третий. Жахнул.
So we can see an explosion break out just on the bottom left of that facility. And from what I understand, this may have been some transformers there on the property that were struck, which would definitely cut off the power to this facility, which is why I would see Ukraine would strike these transformers. So absolutely massive hit. Look at that, guys. Huge fireball coming out from this facility. And this thing was burning for hours after the strike. And I believe it came under attack more than once. We've got another video to go over here in just a second. That's going to show the same exact thing, but at a different point of the day. So this was probably earlier in the morning before the sun came up. Jason J. Smart reports Moscow was attacked by drones last night. Drones crashed into the Moscow oil refinery and the Kashira district power plant. The Kanakovskaya, sorry about that, state district power plant in the Ver region of Russia was also hit. So we've got another facility. I'm not 100% sure if this is the same power plant that we saw struck, but it kind of looks similar to it. If not, we know multiple thermal power plants were attacked. So take a look at this as well.
Блять, шахид. Вон въебал по Грессу, все, въебали, блять, шахид. Вон въебал по Грессу, все,
So we can see this one struck on that bottom right side. Short video, it's only 4 seconds, but massive hit here on the right side. So I couldn't 100% tell if this was the same facility. I mean, these towers look to be about in the same position. But we do know multiple thermal power plants were hit, so it's possible this could be a second one that was struck, and maybe not that exact same one that we saw earlier, but it definitely appears to be potentially the same one. So I wanted to show that to you guys. Pretty crazy hit right there. Also, from Igor Sushko, Russia, footage from the inside of Kharkiv thermal power plant after Ukrainian drone strike. So this is after the Kharkiv thermal power plant, which was this one right here, okay? This one that we just watched a second ago. This is the footage from the inside of it after it was struck. So take a look at this. All right, as we can see, lots and lots of damage at this facility. We've got all these windows being blown out. Lots and lots of damage. I mean, look at that. All this caught on fire here. This is probably near these transformers that got hit. And this looks like that bottom side of that facility when it was struck by that drone when we saw that huge fireball. So again, guys, huge hits to Russia. They're going to be feeling this one. And this is obviously a major failure on Russia's behalf. And imagine this is Moscow, guys. This is one of the most heavily guarded cities in Russia, okay? One of the most important cities, and it comes under attack by drones. That looks really bad on Vladimir Putin. So major failure on Russia's military as well to take down these drones. And this shows how effective these strikes are going to be on Moscow. I mean, imagine pretty soon when Ukraine starts using their ballistic missiles that they have, their Palinitsia rocket drones that they're building right now. I mean, we are going to see massive hits on Moscow very soon. And I would not be surprised if we start to move to the point that we start seeing lots of civilian infrastructure being targeted inside of Moscow as well, like maybe even homes, things like that. I would not be surprised if we start to see that. We'll talk about that some more as we move along. So also, Igor Sushko reports again, Russia, Sergei Sobyanin, the mayor of Moscow, all enemy drones have been intercepted. Meanwhile, firefighters rushed to the Moscow oil refinery that took at least 2 direct strikes by Ukrainian drones just 15 kilometers from the Kremlin. It's good they practiced just yesterday. So take a look at this video too. We've got a fire that clearly is breaking out at the facility after it was hit. Okay, so there you go. So this is a fire at the Moscow oil refinery inside of Russia, okay, in Moscow, not far from the Kremlin. This thing coming under attack by drones, and we've got confirmation that 2 drones have struck this facility and is on fire as of today. So very big hit, guys. Insane what we are seeing over here. So also from Igor Sushko again, Russia, gas distribution pipeline facility near the power plant that also got hit in the Ver region north of Moscow. So even a pipeline facility coming under attack and being destroyed as well by Ukrainian drones. Take a look at this. So as we can see, we've got lots and lots of videos coming out from Russia showing the destruction all over their country, primarily in Moscow. A lot of these videos are coming out from, and that shows how many drones were fired into Moscow. And again, how big of a failure from the air defense teams to take these things down. So again, this looks really bad on Russia, really bad on Vladimir Putin, and massive hits again to their economy. This is going to cost them lots and lots of money on repairs. And, you know, with all these thermal power plants going down, we're seeing the same thing coming from Ukraine now. Ukraine is starting to strike energy facilities all over Russia. They've been doing this for probably about 2 months now, but they're starting to pick up their attacks more and more. And it's starting to look more every day that Moscow is becoming one of the primary targets for Ukrainian drones at this time. And again, imagine what happens when they start getting these ballistic missiles that they're building and their upgraded cruise missiles as well. The Neptune missile and this Palinitsia rocket drone. I mean, we are going to see big hits all across Russia very soon. It's going to be much worse than we're seeing now. So we also have a report here from the informant. A Ukrainian drone crashed in the village of Dernica, Ramensky district of the Moscow region, local residents report. It is also reported that drones attempted to attack Zhukovsky airport. There is still no confirmation on this information. So we've got a couple videos here that show this first video is going to be a drone crashing into a local neighborhood inside of Russia. So we did have some drones that unfortunately crashed in some civilian areas. And then we also have a drone that's going to be flying over somebody's house here. So let's go ahead and see these videos as well. All right, this video is pretty frightening. Take a look at that thing. That drone is absolutely massive. I mean, it looks like a small aircraft, and this thing crashed right in front of this person's house. Look at that one more time, coming in right there, probably about 50 to 100 feet away from this person's house, crashing on the ground. I don't know if it hit somebody's house there. It looks like it may have. Hopefully nobody was harmed in this attack here. But also we got another video to take a look at. more video footage here of drones flying over people's homes, probably heading over to Moscow inside of Russia. So definitely, guys, lots and lots of drones made it into their country, primarily targeting Moscow from what we hear. Again, more regions were attacked, even the Belgorod region. We're going to talk more about that today because there's been lots of exchange of fire, okay? Right after this Moscow attack took place, that's when Russia went and targeted Kharkiv today, and apparently we also had some fire redirected onto Russia in the Belgorod region as well, coming from the Ukrainians. So this war is definitely intensifying like crazy right now, and it's getting worse and worse by the day. So take a look at this as well from Fabian Hoffman. It says, keep in mind that Moscow is protected by a ring of 22 S-300, S-400 air defense sites, most of which should cover the refinery. Additionally, there are at least 9 recently redeployed Panzer S-1, S-2 systems that should have been able to protect against this type of drone attack. So look at that, guys. 22 S-300, S-400 air defense systems, and also 9 recently redeployed Panzer S-1 and S-2 systems to protect Moscow. Look at all these air defense systems completely surrounding Moscow, yet at the same time, these drones were still able to make it in. So what I have seen time and time again, based on all the reports I've done on Russia coming under attack by drones, is drones happen to be the most successful attacks when it comes to oil depots being blown up, thermal power plants, things like that all over Russia. Their air defense systems are not able to take down these drones, and it's crazy to me because these drones don't even fly very fast. It's not like a missile or like a high-powered drone like the Palanitsia drones that that Ukraine is building right now. These are just propeller-style drones that fly very slowly that could easily be shot down by Russian air defense systems, but for some reason they're not able to take these down. So it's pretty crazy to be seeing that. And there's a map to show you the layout of where all these systems are set up to currently protect Moscow. So let's go ahead and keep moving here from Igor Sushko. Ukraine, Russian fascists targeted Kharkiv thermal power plant around 15 kilometers from the front line in the Donetsk region. So this is in the Donetsk region of Ukraine. It looks like a local fisherman was just hanging out here by a lake, and all of a sudden a Russian missile comes in, striking the Kharkiv thermal power plant. Okay, this is in the Donetsk region of Ukraine. Take a look at this. So it appears it looks like a smaller warhead struck this facility, and if you were hearing in the background, it's a little bit difficult to hear, but you could definitely hear a warplane flying over. So this was definitely some sort of bomber that flew over and dropped some sort of munition on this plant, and definitely struck it hard there. We can see a pretty large white cloud of smoke here. So, even in the Donetsk region, we're seeing major attacks. I mean, this war is definitely intensifying. That's why I put that down for today's thumbnail, that it's getting insanely out of control. Okay, the Donetsk region is out of control. The Kursk region, there's that front opening up over there. We have potentially Belarus that could be getting involved in this war pretty soon. We've got Moscow coming under attack by drones. Oil depots being blown up all over Russia. Ukraine getting hammered by missiles and drones almost every single day. I mean, this war is getting insane very, very quickly, and it's shaping up to be a very devastating war nonetheless. So let's go ahead and keep moving here, guys. We got more updates to go over. Also, this was yesterday. Igor Sushko, Russia, government building on fire in Moscow. Now, I don't know why this government building was on fire. I think it may have been a separate reason as opposed to these drone attacks. I'm not 100% sure if this was caused by a drone, but we also had a government building on fire inside of Moscow as well. We'll kind of briefly check this out too. Okay, so again, I don't know exactly what caused this fire, but this was a video that was circulating a lot just prior to that attack taking place with all these drones striking Moscow. So who knows, maybe this was caused by a drone because it was somewhere around the same time when this took place. But definitely a major fire. We can see a lot of smoke coming from this building. So this was a government building inside of Moscow, Russia, and we can see that helicopter trying to put out the flames there. So crazy news, guys. All right, so now we're going to move over to Kharkiv and talk about that major city northwest inside of Ukraine. Okay, so Kharkiv coming under attack again. This came after just today, actually, just this morning, just several hours ago, maybe 3 to 4 hours ago. Kharkiv coming under attack by multiple ballistic missiles. So Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, reports Russia is once again terrorizing Kharkiv, striking civilian infrastructure in the city itself. As of now, there are over 30 wounded. All necessary forces have been deployed for the rescue operation. But to stop this terror, all necessary global forces must be mobilized. What's required is an extraordinary effort, but the sufficient courage of leaders, the courage to give Ukraine everything it needs to defend itself. So we've got a 40-second clip of lots of the damage here inside of Kharkiv after these Russian ballistic missiles, and from what I understand, may have been North Korean ballistic missiles as well striking Kharkiv. Take a look. All right, guys, as we can see, massive devastation here in Kharkiv. Once again, lots of these buildings being destroyed. Looks like some sort of pipeline was hit here too, because we've got a gas leak. So, guys, major hits here across Ukraine. And like I'm telling you guys, this war is intensifying very quickly. It is getting very, very bad and very dangerous at the same time. And I think both sides are going to be hitting each other much harder than we ever saw before. I mean, Ukraine's definitely hitting Russia hard too. But Russia obviously has a lot more ballistic missiles, lots of heavy weaponry, these glide bombs. We heard glide bombs as well were being used here inside of Kharkiv. So, I mean, this war is just going to get absolutely insane very quick, guys. And it's very, very dangerous, this position that we're in right now. This war is not as calm as it was just, the months back or throughout the last year. We're seeing major, major escalation right now in just the last week or so. So let's go ahead and keep moving. Vicegrad24 reports breaking 5 Ukrainians killed and 55 wounded after Russian ballistic missiles strike 3 locations in Kharkiv, a shopping center, a sports arena, near a water park. The death toll is expected to climb. The video shows a missile strike against the shopping center. So this is a quick video. It's only like 2 seconds, so we'll go ahead and just let it roll. But we can see that ballistic missile come in. See if I can pause it. There it is right there. So it dropped straight in, and there it is there as it falls right near the shopping center and striking. I mean, look at that hit. This looks to be what appears to be a Russian Iskander missile, okay? And these things, as far as I know, are somewhere around $4 million a piece, and Russia's been lobbing lots of these onto the eastern side of Ukraine, primarily inside of Kharkiv. We see a lot of these ballistic missiles being used inside of Kharkiv, so absolutely insane, guys. Major, major hits inside of Kharkiv as well. Also, from Kate from Kharkiv, don't look away. It's Sunday in Kharkiv. So we're going to have lots of damage here being shown also inside of Kharkiv from Kate. So take a look at this. Okay, it's bad when we got this many videos coming out. I mean, I think this is the first time I've done an update video where we have this much footage coming out from all these attacks. This is how we know this thing is getting out of control very quick. And we can see this lady running over to the subway station trying to get underground because she's probably afraid more missiles are going to be coming in. So again, guys, it's very horrible what's happening over here. And it's getting crazy, crazy out of control. And hopefully we don't have something very major happening over here. But right now it looks like we're at the point in this war where it's just major destruction on both sides. And we're starting to see Ukraine starting to do this too, okay? They're starting to target lots of civilian infrastructure as well, even near some civilian homes and things like that. And Ukraine wasn't particularly doing this too much. They were mainly going after Maybe some critical infrastructure like oil depots and things like that, some power stations, but not so much civilian infrastructure. We've been seeing a lot more of that lately, even like apartment homes, high-rise buildings, things like that. But definitely the Russians have been doing this for a long time inside of Ukraine. So also from Clash Report, Russia bombed Ukraine's Kharkiv once again. Targets hit Palace of Sports, shopping center, Nova Post branch, supermarkets. About 30 people were injured. So we've got another video and a picture to take a look at. So let's go ahead and check these out.
Выйдите.
All right, we'll stop it right there, guys. Absolutely frightening, right? I mean, we saw that gentleman look outside. He heard these explosions going off, and we've got these Iskander ballistic missiles coming in to this. It looks like a very populated area over here. We've got lots of high-rise buildings and these missiles being dropped. And again, I don't know exactly what the attacks were here. What was the objective to strike what appears to be a residential area? But who knows exactly what these attacks were? But we can definitely see they landed next to these apartment buildings. So very, very scary the direction this war is going, guys. We've also got a picture here that shows some of the damage is probably at the shopping center that was being reported, or maybe this Palace of Sports, who knows, but definitely another building being struck here and destroyed. And again, what is the significance of this attack? We see this a lot from the Russians, and it's most likely just to instill panic among the population, because obviously Kharkiv has been an objective that Russia wants to take for a long time. But, you know, regardless, for months now, for the last probably 6 months or so, we've seen lots and lots of crazy attacks in Kharkiv. It did quiet down for a few months, but it's starting to pick back up again, and it's getting absolutely insane over here in this area. Also, Kate from Kharkiv again, supermarket, Sunday afternoon, main road, and metro station, over 20 injured already. So 20-second video again coming out from Kharkiv, which looks like it was near this metro station that woman was running down into. So take a look at this. All right, so horrifying to see this, guys. Look at all this damage, all these cars, these buildings, that metro station. I mean, this is definitely another angle of what we saw earlier, because we're able to see this pipeline that got hit there, and we've got fire coming out of that. I mean, guys, this is crazy what we are seeing over here. I mean, imagine if this was your city, your town, where you're living. These are people that are just trying to peacefully survive inside of Ukraine and Kharkiv, which is a massive city, okay? Kharkiv is the second largest city inside of Ukraine. It is probably hit the hardest out of all the major cities inside of Ukraine. So very horrible. I hope the people of Kharkiv can eventually live in peace at some point, hopefully sooner than later, and not have to come under attack anymore. And hopefully this war can come to an end so both sides can just live in peace, and we don't have to have these crazy attacks happening that I have to share with you guys every single day. So also from next inside the Ukrainian cities, Kharkiv Sports Palace, after Russian missile strikes, rescue teams are searching for people trapped under the rubble. So we've got a few pictures here as well to check out. Look at some of the damage here from the Kharkiv Sports Palace, okay? This is some of the hits here as well. Major, major damage we can see. Rescue crews here trying to clean up the mess and probably get people out of here if they're trapped under the rubble. Massive, massive damage. Look at that, guys. Very, very horrible. Looks like they're able to save somebody here. Thank goodness this man survived after this hit was taking place here. Again, guys, very horrifying. Horrible, horrible news here from Bliskovka. Now, one of the energy facilities was attacked in Kharkiv during the last missile attack, the Ministry of Energy. So this came out just a few hours ago as well. Looks like an energy facility as well coming under attack in Kharkiv. And Kharkiv already has lots of electricity issues, okay? They've been having rolling blackouts from time to time, and have had lots of trouble trying to maintain the energy supply for the city of Kharkiv. And at some point, I've been talking about this. What if the energy gets completely cut off inside of Kharkiv, considering how many attacks are taking place here? And what's going to happen at some point? I think people are eventually going to start fleeing the city. If it comes under attack enough, we are going to see lots of people start to pull away from Kharkiv, especially if their power gets cut off. So very terrible news there. So right after we had Kharkiv coming under attack, we also had reports of Belgorod coming under attack as well. I think multiple launch rocket systems were being used to strike inside of Belgorod, and we've got attacks on what appears to be civilian infrastructure inside of Belgorod as well. Okay, so these are rockets coming from Ukraine flying into Belgorod, and I don't see any military significance here either. I just see civilian infrastructure coming under attack, and we're going to see that here in this video. So we've got two videos to take a look at here. It just says Russian city of Belgorod has been striked. I think they meant struck. Series of explosions were heard according to local residents. So we've got two videos to take a look at. Let's see these.
Нормал был.
So it's really hard to tell here, but real quick, we can see a car that was destroyed here. I don't know what else was hit. Not the best angle of a video. Then this person kind of pans it down, so we're looking at their feet. But definitely something was struck here in the middle of the street. I think some damage was taken to what appears to be some little market or something. I don't know if it's a gas station, what it is. But something definitely was struck here. We've got another video to take a look at. So it looks like this person was just hanging out on their couch, and all of a sudden they hear a bunch of explosions in the distance. This is also inside of Belgorod, and if you were able to hear that, you can't see anything, but you can definitely hear multiple rockets going off, landing inside of Belgorod. So, you know, just imagine living anywhere in this region over here, anywhere on the eastern side of Ukraine or western Russia, especially the Belgorod region, one of the most attacked regions every single day. And just absolutely horrifying. I couldn't imagine living in anywhere close to these areas. So let's go ahead and keep moving. We got a few more reports to go over. NOAA reports Russians have shown the aftermath of missile strikes on an ammunition and equipment depot of the Russian army in Bakhmut in the Donetsk region. Russians claim it was Storm Shadow. So apparently the Russians are still operating throughout Bakhmut, and Bakhmut was one of the major towns that was taken in the Donetsk region to the start of this war. Probably in like the first year of this war, Bakhmut had fallen. And it looks like we had an ammunition and equipment depot coming under attack by what appears to be Ukrainian Storm Shadow missiles. Well, they're British, but the Ukrainians are using them right now. So take a look at this.
Вот так вот, блядь. Storm Shadow попадает нахуй. Ля, какую балку распетушила, видел? А это не Химари, это Storm Shadow прилетел. Да, горит.
Okay, so we'll stop it right there. And again, what we have here appears to be yet another ammunition depot coming under attack from the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians have been able to locate a lot of these all over the place, all over Russia. Now appears to be inside the Donetsk region, and the Donetsk region comes under attack a lot by ATACMS missiles and British Storm Shadow missiles, as we can see here, destroying this facility. And this appears to be an ammunition equipment depot inside the Donetsk region in Bakhmut. Okay, so major hit there on the Eastern Front as well. So also from next, an unexploded warhead from a Kh-47 Kinzhal hypersonic missile has been neutralized in Ukraine's Lviv region. The cost of such a missile starts at $10 million. So apparently there was a missile that was fired from Russia on over to Lviv, and Lviv is on the western side of Ukraine, close to Poland. And they come under attack. Usually, if they are attacked by missiles, it's a lot of times either long-range cruise missiles or ballistic missiles or these Kinzhal hypersonic missiles. And apparently one of them were duds landing inside of Lviv, and they were able to dig this thing out. And apparently it was still active, okay? And they neutralized it. So pretty crazy to see that, right? I mean, look at that thing. Absolutely huge warhead, okay? These are hypersonic missiles, okay? They fly very, very quickly and are very difficult to detect and shoot down by air defense systems. And it says right there they cost $10 million a piece, okay? There's example of a $10 million warhead right there. So let's go ahead and keep moving here. From Bozar Tiger Fella, Ukrainian and Israeli sources report that Ukrainian agents in Russia killed Sharfi Molasari, sorry guys, kind of hard to say, commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps, the IRGC. Molasari was responsible for the transfer of Iranian Shahid and Mohajir responsible. Okay, so apparently the commander of the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps, was responsible for sending all these drones, these Shahid drones, over to Russia. And Ukrainian and Israeli sources are reporting that Ukrainian agents killed this gentleman who was responsible for sending these over to Russia. Okay, so very, very big news. I'm going to try to check into that some more and verify that. But what's being reported here is that he has been taken out. And this is obviously something that Ukraine is not okay with. Okay, these Iranian drones, these Shahid drones that are flying into their territory almost every single day, are being transferred from Iran over to Russia repeatedly. And then they end up flying into Ukraine and destroying homes and facilities and harming people inside of their country. And these are one of the major drones that we see flying into Ukraine more than any other type of drone, which are Iranian drones. Okay, so big news coming out there. Bliskovka reports the U.S. considers it unlikely that the F-16 was shot down by friendly fire from the Patriot system, the New York Times reports. According to two high-ranking U.S. military officials, U.S. and Ukrainian investigators are looking into versions of mechanical failure or pilot error. Okay, so New York Times coming out talking about this F-16 back on Monday that supposedly crashed inside of Ukraine during a major Russian bombardment. And they're stating that the U.S. is saying that it was unlikely that the F-16 was shot down by friendly fire. So what happened here? We still don't know. I haven't heard any updates other than this. And obviously, they're still investigating. We probably never will know what happened here. But again, my question is how did the pilot not eject out of the aircraft? If it crashed and something went wrong, how were they not able to eject? That's my biggest question here. And if they didn't eject, that makes me think that it actually was shot down. But there's still lots of talk about whether it was friendly fire. A Patriot missile may have shot this thing down. There was also a Ukrainian parliament member, I forget her name, but she came out recently as well and was saying that the Ukrainian Air Force had a major failure and blunder here where they shot this thing down by accident or whatever happened here. Some major error happened where they ended up shooting down their own F-16. And this is apparently the third Ukrainian fighter jet that they have lost to friendly fire. So if it has happened multiple times before, it would make me think that it probably did happen again. But this is what the New York Times was reporting just recently as of today. Also from Max 24, satellite images of the oil depot in the Rostov region, which has been burning for the 5th day. We've got a picture here of a satellite image of this thing still burning 5 days later. Okay, this is a new update as of today. We talked about this 5 days ago when this oil refinery came under attack. From what I understand, this is the Atlas oil reserve, okay, for the Russian military, and it came under attack by Ukrainian drones. We had like 2 oil tanks that were on fire at first. Now it looks like it's moved to at least 4 to 6, and even over here some are on fire as well. So we may have upwards of like 12 tanks that have caught on fire, and this fire definitely has spread over the last few days. So also, we've got another update video coming out from this same Atlas oil depot. So the Atlas oil depot in the Rostov region is still burning 4 days after it got attacked by Ukraine. Will it meet the same fate as the Prolatarsk oil depot? We talked about the Prolatarsk oil depot. Started out with 1 or 2 oil tanks catching on fire about 2 weeks ago, also in the Rostov region. And then within a few days, it spreaded to like 14 to 22 tanks catching on fire. So this is from Noel Reports. We got a quick 6-second clip. Take a look at this. So there it is, 5 days later, guys, still burning. As we can see, massive, massive flames here. This thing has not been put out, and it looks to me like it is going to be meeting the same fate as that Prolatarsk oil depot. And these are massive hits, guys, okay? A lot of this oil that comes from over here supplies the oil for the troops as they move into the eastern side of Ukraine. And this is why Ukraine is doing this. They're trying to do anything they can to prevent the Russians from being able to advance on the eastern side of Ukraine, especially in the Donetsk region right now, where they are heavily failing to prevent the onslaught from the Russians. So also for military news, UA, a Russian convoy of engineering equipment was destroyed in the Kursk region. So we also had some reports coming out from Kursk. There was another Russian convoy being destroyed in the Kursk region here in the last probably 24 to 48 hours. So I wanted to show you guys this real quick. Take a look at this.
Машина. Сегодня ночью, по-моему, расстреляны. Это в любом случае жертвы есть. Но молчат. У нас все под контролем. Говорят так. Это званное. Глушковский район.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and pause it there. So as we can see, multiple logistics trucks, which appear to be carrying engineering equipment that were supposed to be heading over to the Kursk region where all the fighting is taking place with the Ukrainians with this major incursion into Russia. This is another Russian column that has been destroyed inside the Kursk region. And this is probably the third, maybe fourth Russian column being taken out. These are probably HIMARS missiles once again striking this column. So, I mean, the Russians are definitely having a hard time pushing the Ukrainians out of the Kursk region right now. And it really makes me wonder what's going to happen next if all else fails, if the Russian military is unable to even get close anywhere nearby to the Ukrainians in the Kursk region. What are they going to do? I think we're going to see a massive response at some point. So let's go ahead and keep moving. We've got a few more updates here. Jason J. Smart, another destroyed column of Russian armed forces in the Kursk direction, and a vital Russian transport bridge was destroyed. So we just watched that Russian column being destroyed. Now take a look at this video. There's a bridge that was also taken out in the Kursk region as well. So no sound in this video, but we can see massive, massive destruction here as well. This bridge is completely destroyed here and no longer usable by the Russian military. So another bridge again being collapsed and destroyed, probably from Ukrainian HIMARS. Who knows what took this out? But he also put here, Kursk People's Republic will be liberated. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep moving. We had a couple more reports here. Noel reports again, Russia's economy of death could allow it to continue the war for another 5 to 6 years, according to Le Monde, which is a French newspaper. The publication analyzes 3 growth factors: massive spending on the military industry, salaries for contract soldiers, and payments to families of the deceased. They note that the death of a Russian soldier brings more financial benefit to their family, up to 11 million rubles, than if the soldier were alive, creating an economic bubble that sustains the war. So I wanted to share this with you guys because it makes you wonder, how is Russia, with the economy similar to the size of Canada, how are they able to maintain this war for so long now? Now, he's talking about an economic bubble that has been created, right? Think about this as well. And I've been thinking a lot about this in terms of Ukraine not being able to strike inside of Russian territory, targeting these airfields, things like that. It made me wonder if this was to prolong the war, to keep it going as long as possible, because so many countries are benefiting from this war right now, and it's helping maintain their economies at the same time because there's massive, massive amounts of spending going on. And generally, when there's lots of spending with a country, that helps out with economies. And then we think about how the economies around the world have been devastated over the last 4 years or so, especially when we had the pandemic happening. Everything was shut down all over the world, major economic issues, right? And then we've got high inflation all over the world. We've got countries like the United States and massive amounts of debt. And it probably requires so much money printing just to keep these bubbles going without a massive crash and a massive economic crisis throughout the world. And this could be the reason why we're seeing this whole thing continuing on for a very long time. So I thought this was a crazy report to bring to you guys. And it's important to understand the economic sides of things as well, because it's not all just about dropping bombs everywhere. I mean, there is lots of money being made on the back end for all these contractor companies, defense industries that are producing all these weapons. There is lots and lots of money being generated off this war, while at the same time, lots of innocent people are losing their lives. Very terrible, guys. Also from Andrei Haydash, Russian Z channels are now saying that Americans are our allies because of restrictions, etc. Interesting time to live in. So apparently Russians on Telegram are coming out and celebrating the fact that the United States is not allowing Ukraine to strike inside of Russian territory, go after their airfields and such. That we've got like this post here that was being shared from Igor Gherkin. And this is Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor with Joe Biden, the president. And we've got this post here that supposedly was from a Russian on some of their Z channels on Telegram, discussing the fact that they're happy that that basically the U.S. is not allowing Ukraine to strike their airfields, and they're essentially protecting Russia. Okay, is basically what the United States is doing by not allowing Ukraine to strike these airfields. So pretty crazy to see that. Even the Russians are coming out and celebrating. Two more things to go over, guys. Thanks for your patience. War Monitor reports Belarus has been transferring more heavy equipment to the border with Ukraine with a tactical sign of B. So we got more pictures coming out just yesterday of more Belarusian tanks heading to the border of Ukraine. And again, what is this whole plan for? Why are they sending all this weaponry to the border? Are they concerned about an incursion taking place into their country? Are they planning to invade Ukraine? Are they planning to turn their back on Russia and join with Ukraine and fight back against Russia? I don't know what's happening here. And if you're wondering why I'm stating that, I put out a report just a couple days ago. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko coming out and saying that he's got people in the West pretty much that are persuading him to try to join alongside Ukraine and fight back against Russia, basically abandon Russia. I don't know if that would ever happen. I wouldn't think so, but just kind of throwing that out there in case that happens to be the case. But what we are seeing is lots of Belarusian military equipment heading to the border of Ukraine over the last week. Okay, so also one last thing from Jurgen Nodit. Ukraine has given the U.S. a list of targets in the Russian Federation that it wants to hit with ATACMS missiles. Now they are considering this request, says Rustem Umerov. He is the defense minister of Ukraine, and it says, what answer do you think Biden will give? Okay, so here's like a report that came out. And yeah, so apparently the Ukrainians are putting together a list of sites that they want to go after, airfields, oil depots, things like that, to use ATACMS missiles to strike inside of Russian territory. And we'll see how the Biden administration responds to that. Will they allow Ukraine to go after these targets and start striking inside of Russia, or will they not? My best guess is they probably will not allow them to do this. But regardless, even if they don't allow them, we know that Ukraine has been producing their own weaponry. They've got their own ballistic missiles that have already been tested. They are also working on the Palinitsia drone that supposedly is ready to go as well. This is a rocket drone that's probably very similar to like a cruise missile. So we're definitely going to see this war escalate regardless. We're going to see Ukraine at some point be able to target these airfields with more than just drones. So it's going to be coming at some point, ladies and gentlemen. But I understand it was a lot of information to go over today, so I want to thank you so much for your patience. But I'm going to go ahead and let you guys get out of here. I hope you got something out of this update. If you did, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.